Most guys think you have to drop 3,000 on a European rig just to get regulated precision and consistent velocities. And honestly, that outdated mindset is costing them a fortune in upgrades they do not even need. Look, you think Turkish pre-charged pneumatic rifles are just cheap entry-level toys. You have never seen this. Here is the deal. The manufacturing hub in Konya is completely taking over the airgun world right now. Kral Arms and Reximex are pumping out absolute tack drivers. These rigs are pushing heavy lead with insane power, and they are doing it for a fraction of the cost of the old legacy brands. Listen, we ran the ballistic data, we stripped down the mechanics, and we found the top 5 platforms from these two giants that are absolutely dominating the market this year. Starting off at number 5, we are bringing in an absolute powerhouse, the Kral Puncher Bigmax X. This rig is a pure tactical beast built for extreme kinetic energy. It throws a massive synthetic stock with a carbon fiber style finish onto the bench, weighing in at a hefty 8.59 pounds. You are looking at a platform that pushes 22 cal slugs downrange at an insane 1,050 feet per second. Let us dive into the mechanic insight on this monster. The Bigmax X utilizes a dual air bottle architecture, stacking a 500cc tank and a 425cc tank for a mind-blowing 925 cc's of total air volume. Here is exactly why that matters. When you are generating 57.5 foot-pounds of energy, a standard air cylinder would bleed out fast. But this massive dual-volume reservoir ensures that even at maximum output, the pressure drop per shot is incredibly slow, giving you sustained high-velocity strings without falling off the cliff. When you pull the trigger, the brake snaps like a frozen twig. And let me tell you about the report. It barks like an unsuppressed framing nailer. It spits heavy lead with serious authority, making it a nightmare for large pests in the field. Slap some standard long-range glass on the top rail, because you absolutely do not need any gimmicky thermal or infrared optics to get the job done with this setup. But here is the deal breaker, and it is all about the ergonomics. Because they mounted nearly 1,000 cc's of aluminum air bottles right at the front of the chassis, this rifle is completely front-heavy. If you try to take an offhand shot in the woods, your crosshairs are going to dance all over the place. You are practically forced to run a bipod at all times to keep the muzzle steady. This Bigmax X is a heavy-duty workhorse for sure, but wait until you see the absolute slug slinging monster we have waiting at number 1. Moving on to number 4, we have the Reximex Pretensis. This thing is an absolute mid-tier disruptor, setting you back under $600. You can get it in synthetic, blue laminate, or that gorgeous Turkish walnut. It is a full-length hunting rig designed to do it all, from neutralizing pests to club target shooting. Let us talk about what makes this thing an absolute laser beam. The 22.8-inch barrel comes with a factory air stripper. Here is exactly how that works. As the lead exits the muzzle, that stripper mechanically pulls the turbulent, high-pressure air away from the pellet skirt. That stops the air from kicking the pellet off course, giving you insanely tight single-hole groups at 30 yards with quality ammo. It runs on a slim 260cc air cylinder. It is an unregulated system, but if you map your power curve and shoot from 200 bar, it throws 177 cal pellets with amazing consistency. When you are in that sweet spot, the 2-stage trigger hits a solid wall and breaks like stepping on thin ice. But the factory sound without a moderator barks like a junkyard dog. Thankfully, it has standard half-inch threads to add a real silencer. Now for the deal breaker. We are talking about the physical footprint and the optics rail. This is a massive rifle sitting over 40 inches long, which makes it a nightmare to swing around in tight brush. On top of that, the front optics rail gives you barely 1 inch of mounting space. That severely limits your options if you want to run a massive scope. Look, I know the traditional firearm guys will doubt a mid-tier Turkish air rifle can hold its own past 50 yards. Sound off below if you have taken game with the Pretensis. Let them know what this rig can actually do. Stepping up the tactical utility, we are looking at number 3, the Kral Puncher Mortal. This rig bridges the gap between a budget-friendly price tag and hardcore field performance. It features a telescoping folding stock that drops the entire footprint down to just over 24 inches. That makes it an absolute dream for throwing in a backpack or hiking through dense brush on a pest control run. Let us dive into the mechanic insight on this one. It runs on a 200cc air cylinder without a regulator. But here is how the valve dwell time works to your advantage. As the air pressure drops from the 200 bar max fill, the back pressure pushing against the valve decreases. Because the hammer spring tension stays constant, the hammer strikes the valve and forces it open just a fraction of a second longer. That increased dwell time lets more airflow through, creating a beautiful sweet spot where your velocities stay incredibly tight for about 70 to 80 shots. When you are in the zone, the 2-stage trigger breaks clean like snapping a fresh carrot. And since it has a massive M-LOK style shroud covering the tank, you have tons of real estate to mount a bipod or a tactical light. The sound profile is decent, popping like a heavy-duty rivet gun when you let the air loose. But we have to talk about the deal breaker here, and it is all about the ergonomics. While the AR-style pistol grip is totally ambidextrous, the biathlon-style side lever and the manual safety are locked in for right-handed shooters only. You cannot swap them over. So if you shoot southpaw, cycling this action on the fly is going to be incredibly frustrating. Entering the elite tier, we are looking at number 2, the Reximex Meta Premium. This is not just another tactical bullpup. This rig is an absolute showcase of extreme pneumatic engineering wrapped up in an aerospace-grade aluminum chassis. It completely ditches the heavy aluminum air cylinder for a lightweight 480cc carbon fiber bottle, keeping the front end highly maneuverable. Let us get into the mechanic insight because this is where the Meta Premium becomes a monster. It utilizes a massive 90cc power plenum feeding directly from that carbon bottle. Here is exactly why that matters for you slug shooters. Heavy lead has more bearing surface and weight, so it needs a sustained blast of high-pressure air to keep accelerating down that 27.5-inch free-floated barrel. That huge plenum stores an insane volume of perfectly regulated air right behind the valve. When you pull the trigger, it delivers maximum kinetic energy without starving the slug halfway down the tube. When you are pushing 25 cal lead, this rig generates a staggering 45.6 foot-pounds of energy. The 4-way adjustable trigger breaks like a shattered glass rod, giving you total control over every single shot. They even integrated a 3-axis adjustable butt pad and a hidden monopod straight out of a centerfire sniper platform to completely eliminate human wobble. But here is the deal breaker, and it is a major air performance quirk. The factory claims that fully shrouded barrel keeps things quiet. Let us be real. When you are dumping that massive 90cc plenum at full power, the sound profile is aggressive. It cracks like a thunderclap in a tight canyon. If you are trying to do stealth pest control in a small backyard, this beast is going to wake up the whole neighborhood. Closer to the crown, we have arrived at number 1, the Reximex Throne Gen 2 Compact. This masterpiece takes the top spot for a very specific reason. Street price sits right around $1,000, but it completely shatters the performance barrier of European rigs that cost twice as much. Looking at the overall package, it gives you the massive shot count of the Jumbo at number 5, but with an incredibly refined adjustable regulator system that puts the Pretensis at number 4 to shame. Under the hood, this bullpup is a tuner's absolute dream. It utilizes an externally adjustable regulator paired with an 18cc power plenum and an external transfer port wheel. Here is exactly how that works in the field. Instead of tearing the gun apart on your workbench, you can balance the airflow dynamics perfectly with heavy 22 cal lead by turning a few dials on the outside. When the hammer strikes, that exact measured volume of high-pressure, static air from the plenum pushes a 25-grain projectile out with maximum kinetic energy. You are getting absolutely flat velocities and incredible consistency for 7 shots on a single fill. Pulling the trigger feels like snapping a fragile icicle. And the sound from the muzzle? It sounds like a muffled, heavy stapler, making it highly effective for staying under the radar during a pest control operation. Operating the action is a breeze, too. The side lever is spring-loaded, flipping out with just a tap, and you can completely reverse it for left-handed shooters. But let us be real about the flaws. The included hard case from the factory is an absolute joke. It is way too small to hold the rifle once you mount a decent optic on that dual rail system. You will have to either rip your scope off every single time you pack up or drain your wallet buying a proper aftermarket case. So there you have it. The Turkish manufacturing powerhouse is completely rewriting the rules of the pre-charged pneumatic game this year. You do not have to drain your bank account to get match-grade precision or massive knockdown power anymore. Whether you want the traditional walnut feel of the Jumbo or the absolute tactical superiority of the Throne Gen 2, these platforms are delivering heavy-hitting performance that punches way above its weight class. If you want the raw truth without the marketing fluff, lock it in right here.